Welcome to this predicted paper from onmaths that is based on the advanced information given to us by the exam boards. Please use this paper in addition to your other revision. You can complete a unique version of this paper by going to our onmaths site. Onmaths is full of free content to help you prepare for your exams, such as topic-based papers, demon questions and mini mocks. If you like what we do, please consider subscribing. For us to create the largest number, we need to pick the biggest digits for the start of the number. So the biggest digit is 7, then 6, then 4, then 3. But the question says it wants the largest even number. So we need to just swap the last two around to make sure that it is even. So our answer is 7,634. So if we do our place value grid, and so we've got units here, tenths and hundredths. Don't think we need any more. So we can put in our number, it's 5.87, and you can see here that the 8 here is in the tenths column. So the 8 represents 8 tenths. Multiples are times tables, so the multiples of 2 are the times table of 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, etc, etc. So the only number in this list that is in the 2 times table is the 6. When a number is next to a letter, we actually have a times sign there. So I'm going to rewrite this question as 4 times A times 9 times B. What I'm going to do is put the numbers together. So 4 times 9, and then put the letters at the end. Now 4 times 9 is 36, so it would be 36 times A times B, and in algebra we don't put the times signs, so it's 36AB. A comparative bar chart is where you have two bars next to each other meaning different things, so it's probably easier just to start drawing it and then we can talk about it as we go along. So we've got males here at 12, and so what we want to do is a bar that is 12 high, and these are going up in 2s, so it will be up here. There we go. And then right next to it we're going to do females, which is 14. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make this go up to 14. And there we go. Now, we need to be able to tell these apart, so what I'm going to do is just shade in the females. And we should do a little key. And we say that if they're not shaded, it's males. And if they're shaded, that is females. Okay, let's carry on with the bar chart. So it's 14 and 6. So notice I've got gaps between the pairs. So we've got 14 and 6, which will be down here. And again, we're just going to shade in the females. And then finally, we've got 8 and 16. So 8 would be here. Then 16. Be up here, and finally obviously we're going to shade in the females. Whenever we multiply two negatives we always get a positive, so we know our answer will be positive. We're going to do 9 times 12, which is going to be 108, and v times v, which is going to be v squared. So we're going to find out the multiplier first, and we do that by starting with 100%, and it says it increased by 11.2%, so we're just going to add 11.2%, which will give us 111.2%. Then we're going to make that into a decimal by dividing by 100, and this will make it into a multiplier, so it's 1.112. That's our multiplier, and the beauty of a multiplier is all we do is we get our amount, which is 840, and multiply it by the multiplier, and it will do all the hard work for us and give us the answer of 900 and 34.08. To work out the mean, what we need to do is work out the sum of the numbers, basically add them all up and divide that by the amount of numbers. Now, when we're giving the numbers in a frequency table, it's a little bit more tricky to find the sum of the numbers and the amount of the numbers, but there are some really strong techniques. The first thing I want to just highlight is that a frequency table is just saying that there are 5 lots of 4. So we can imagine writing out 5 lots of 4. Okay, and then there are 10 lots of 5. So you can imagine writing 10 lots of 5. I'm not going to, but that's all a frequency table is saying. Okay, so how do we work out what the numbers will add up to? Well, let's look at those 4s. How many 4s are there? Well, there's 5 of them. And what are 5 4s? Well, to work that out, we just times them. 5 4s are 20. So we create this FS column, S for sweets. Okay, and what that's telling us is all of those 4 sweets added together are 20. If we keep going through this, there are 10 lots of 5, well that just makes 50, 5 lots of 6, which is 30, 8 lots of 7, which is 56, and then 2 lots of 8, which is 16. Now altogether what do they add up to? Well, we know these add up to 20, these add up to 50, these add up to 30, etc, etc. But altogether they're going to add up to whatever this column adds up to. And we can show that as a kind of sigma fs. And we just add up the 20, 50, 30, 56, 16. So we add up that column, which is going to be 172. So we know the top is 172. Now the second part is to work out how many numbers there are. Well, there are 5 numbers in the first column, 10 in the second column, 5 in the next row, I should say, 8 in the next row, and then 2 in the next row. So to work out how many there are in total, we just add those up, and we call that the sum of F column. And we do 5 plus 10 plus 5 plus 8 plus 2, add those together, which is 30. So all we need to do to work out the mean is 172 divided by 30, which is going to be 5.733 blah blah blah. It wants it to 2 decimal places, so what we're going to do is just round that to 5.73. So to find the probability, we're going to do the successful outcomes divided by the total number of outcomes. So looking at this question, it says number of times it should land on a 1, so that would be 1 over the total amount, which is 11. So the chance of us getting a 1 is 1 over 11. To find the expected amount, we do the probability and we times it by the amount of trials. So it says it's spun 60 times, so we're going to times it by 60. And that will give us the answer of 5.454 blah blah blah. Now it can't have landed on a 1 5.4 times, so it's definitely, well, this probability, we always round down, so never ever round up, because it's 5 times and then a little bit extra, and so only when it gets to 6 can we say that it's 6 times. So the answer to this is just 5. To answer this question, we're going to have to create a two-way table for all the information. So I'm just going to draw a quick table. So we've got maths, English, science, then a total column. And then across here we have male and female and a total column. Okay, so going to fill in maths at the top, English, science, and then we have a total. And then we've got male, female, and then total at the bottom. So looking at the information we have, it says there are 43 students who are male. So altogether the total male is 43. 30 out of the 52 students who went to science were female. So we're just looking at science, and 30 were female, and it says there were 52 altogether. 37 students went to English, so total for English was 37. And then 17 females went to maths. So looking at maths and females, which would be there. So that's all the information we're given, apart from the 115 as well. There we go. So we start filling these in. So looking at these two, if there are 115 students altogether and 43 were male, that means 72 will be female. Looking along the bottom here, the total of English was 37, the total of science was 52, and the total altogether 115. And notice I'm not necessarily reading the question here, I'm just filling out the two-way table, but we'll read the question at this point. So it says work out the number of males who went to English. Males who went to English will be this box here, so this is our target. But you can't work that out directly, we've got to kind of go around and work out what we can. So the next thing we can do is work out this bit here. So the total females 72, the females who went to maths 17, females who went to science 30, so that leaves 25. And then you can see here we can work this out. So the total was 37 who went to English, 25 females, and so that means there will be 12 males. There's a lot going on with this question, so I'm going to start off just having a look at the total amount of money. So I'm going to do this in pence, so 2115 pence. And if each merit point is worth 3 pence, then we can work out the amount of merit points by doing 2,115 divided by 3. So that gives us 705. So there's 705 merit points. Next, have a look at the question here, this part here, where it says James has X merit points. Sarah has 4 times as many points as James, so she's going to have 4x. Robert has 69 fewer merit points than James, so he's going to have x minus 69. And we know that that equals 705 because we've just worked that out. And this feels like a solving coming on. So we've got x plus 4x plus x, which is 6x. Minus 69 equals 705. And we're going to add 69 to both sides. So we've got 6x equals 774. Then we're going to divide 6 both sides. And so we've got x equals 129. So x equals 129. That means James has 129. Sarah has 4 times more, so she will have 516. And Robert has 69 fewer, so we're going to take 69 away from that, and that will equal 60. So this question says that Adrian, Ben and Charlie have some sweets, and the ratio of Adrian to Ben to Charlie is 9 to 6 to 13. But it also says that Charlie got 56 more sweets than Adrian. So there's 56 more sweets. Well, looking at the actual parts of the ratio, there are 4 more parts. So plus 4 parts, which represents plus 56 sweets. So the 4 extra parts are worth 56 sweets. So 4 parts are worth 56 sweets. So 1 part would be 56 divided by 4, which is 14 sweets. So all we need to do now is work out how many parts there are. Well, there are 9 plus 6 plus 13 parts, which is 28. and each part is worth 14 sweets. So the total number of sweets will be 28 times 14. So 28 times 14 is 392. So our triangle says that speed equals distance over time, and average speed is the total distance over the total time. So when we're looking for average speed, we want to work out, so we're just going to write average speed or speed, and it's going to be the total distance. So the distance starts at 0, goes up to 30. So the total distance is 30, and the time starts at 10:15 and ends at 11. So that'll be 45 minutes, or, well, we should do it in hours, because the units we want in hours. So it would be 0.75. So 30 divided by 3/4 would be 40. So it's going to be 40 kilometers per hour. The important thing to realise in this question is that we know a female has been selected. So we can just basically get rid of all of this part of the frequency tree, because it's not relevant, because we know a female has been selected. So there's 29 females altogether, and we're looking for the probability that the female chosen at random picked action. So it's just simply 16 over 29. The first thing we need to do is work out the area of the floor, and you'll notice that this is a trapezium. So with a trapezium, the formula is half a plus b times h, and a and b are the parallel sides, so these ones are the parallel sides, and the height is the one connecting the two bases, the two parallel sides. So we're going to start off by writing down the formula. So it'd be half a plus b h. So half times 2.8 plus 1.2 times 11. And when we do that, we get 22. So the area of the floor is 22 meters squared. And it says here that the tiles are sold in packs which cover 3 meters squared. So if each pack covers 3 meters squared, we're going to do 22 divided by 3, which will be 7.33 packs that we need. Now obviously you can't get 0.3 of a pack or 0.33 of a pack, so we're going to have to get 8 packs and just have some left over. So we'll need 8 packs in total. Okay, next thing we look at is the fact that the Jenny has a 25% discount. So we need to find out what 25% discount would do to the £18.60 for the tiles, or for the pack of tiles. And so what we're going to do is we're going to get the £18.60 and we're going to times it by 0.75. We're just going to find 3/4 of it because she has a 25% discount, and that would be 1,395. So that's the tiles are going to cost £13.95. Now I've done this in pence and I've kind of muddled it together here. So really, let's just go back because I've kind of done this in pence. So that would be 1,860 times 0.75, and so each pack will cost 1,395, and the reason we're doing this in pence is the answer needs to be given in pence, so I might as well just make that conversion now. And so it's going to be 8 lots of the 1,395 pence packs, which will cost in total 11,160 pence, or £111.60. But Jenny has £100 to spend, and we're asked how much extra does she need. So we're going to do the 11,160, take away the 10,000 pence that she has, which will give us 1,160 pence. So she needs to find £11.60 or 1,160 pence from somewhere. So the rules of indices state that if you have a power inside and outside of a bracket, we just multiply them together. So it's 10 to the power of minus 12 times minus 12. Two negatives make a positive, and 12 times 12 is 144. There are two shapes we need to find the volume of. There's this cylinder here and this hemisphere here. So we might as well start with this cylinder. And the formula for the volume is pi times r squared times height. So it's the radius is 9, so 9 squared times the height, which is 30. And when we work that out, we get 7,634.070, blah, blah, blah. Next is the hemisphere. To find the volume of the hemisphere, well, the volume of a sphere is 4/3 times pi times r cubed, but because it's a hemisphere, we just times that by a half. So it's half times 4/3 times pi times r, which is the radius, which is 9 cubed, and that gives us 1,526.814, blah, blah, blah. And so the total volume is 7,634.070, blah, 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 plus the 1,526.814, blah, 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 which equals 9,160.884, blah, blah, blah. It says it wants it to two decimal places, so when we round that, we get 9,160.88. So we can't work out length CE directly, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by finding length BC. And I'm going to do that using trigonometry. So we've got the 90 degrees there. So it will be, well, we'll start by labelling it. So BC is the hypotenuse. The opposite here and adjacent here. We're not using the adjacent, so we're going to just do our SOHCAHTOA, and we've crossed out the A, so we cross out these two, so it's going to be sine. So we know that sine 79 equals the opposite, which is 29 over the BC. So I'm going to put my solving lines in. And we need to times both sides by BC first of all. So we end up with BC sine 79 equals 29. And we're just going to divide both sides by sine 79. Just a bit of rearranging. So BC will be 29 over sine 79. And when you do that in the calculator, you get 29.542, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so next thing we need to figure out is angle BCE. So where are we? This angle here. And to work that out, we're just going to take 79 away from 90. So angle BCE is 90, take away 79, and that's going to be 11. So we know this is 11 degrees here, and we have enough information now to work out CE, because we've got this triangle here, and we've got this length here, the BC, and we've got this angle here. So we've got enough information now. So we're going to look for length CE. We're going to first of all label the sides. So we've got the opposite here, the hypotenuse opposite the right angle here, and the adjacent here. So this hypotenuse is now an adjacent. We're not using the opposite at all, but we are looking for the hypotenuse. So let's do our little triangles now, find out which one we're using. So we're not using O, so we get rid of sine and tan, and it's going to be a cos. So it's going to be cos 11 equals the adjacent, which is the BC value we've just worked out, over the hypotenuse, which is CE. Now hopefully you've realised from when we did it with the sine thing here that actually we can just swap these two things over. So we can have it as CE equals 29.542 blah 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 over cos 11. Okay, then we put that into our calculator and we get the answer of 30.095 blah blah blah, and it wants it to one decimal place, so that will be 30.1. So there are three parts that we need to find the area of. We're going to start with the easiest bit first, this circle at the bottom here. Okay, so the circle area is just going to be pi times r squared, and the radius is given to us at the top, which is 9, so it's just going to be pi times 9 squared, and that will be 254.469 blah blah blah. Or we could leave it as 81 pi. Next bit is the curved bit of the cylinder, so we're going to do the cylinder next. And it's just the curved bit, and the formula for that is 2 pi r h. So 2 times pi times the radius, which is 9, times the height, which is 30, and that will give us 1696.460 blah blah blah. And the last bit is this hemisphere here. And so let's do the hemisphere. And the formula for the area of a hemisphere, well, this full sphere is 4 times pi times r squared, but because it's a hemisphere, it's half of that. And so it'd be half times 4 times pi times the 9 squared. And that will give us 508.938. And so the final thing is to work out the total area, so total surface area. And we're just going to add up all these numbers together. So we add up the 254.469, the 1696.460, blah blah blah, and the 508.938, blah 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 blah. And we get 2459.867 blah blah blah. Do make sure you show the examiner that you're adding these three here. I've not done that because it wastes a bit of time for a video, but make sure you write it down. It says it wants it to 2 decimal places, so that will be 2459.87 centimeters squared. You can complete a unique version of this paper by going to our onmaths site. onmaths is full of free content to help you prepare for your exams, such as topic-based papers, demon questions, and mini mocks. If you like what we do, please consider subscribing.